think the honorable thing for our species to do is deny our programming. Stop reproducing. Walk hand in hand into extinction. One last midnight, brothers and sisters opting out of a raw deal.
Do not trust any friends or family members. I repeat, do not trust friends.
Oh, fuck. Okay, thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Well, let's talk some more hot smack for a minute, I guess. Let's build up a new...
That's fine. Build up a new transition in.
Yeah.
I heard Canada's actually going to start breaking down provincial trade border barriers or whatever for whatever dumb fucking reason we had in place.
I didn't even know we had those.
Yeah, like apparently you couldn't bring gin from BC into Ontario. Like we have dumb fucking regulations and shit for like the most random things. And now they're like, we should get rid of those. It's like, what the fuck, idiots? Like,
what a stupid country we live in.
Yeah, well, it doesn't surprise me. It's kind of a fucking hokum country.
We have a lot of different. It's crazy.
We have really retarded competing priorities. Like honestly, the easiest place to prey on is Quebec.
Because they are the the most basic of like idiot behavior based on language protection. That's just basically racist behavior.
Wow.
I like it. Yeah. Not wrong. Yeah.
I don't know.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's
Call me if I'm wrong. I don't know.
No, I have noticed a certain slant towards minorities in Quebec.
Here's the thing about Quebec is like once upon a time they were the hubbub of like not only like what is referred to as the Laurentian consensus in Canada, but also like the film industry and like fucking banking and all that shit. There was a point where Montreal, if nothing else, was in a way the cultural center of Canada, and now they've become like sort of a nothing. Like after NAFTA and moving on, I'm sure there's lots of money there because of course, why not?
Oh,
but
Montreal's awesome, one of my favorite places. But yeah, it doesn't have the same cultural cachet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I just threw sand at Quebec, and I don't know.
Huh? No, throw sand at somebody.
Yeah, and
yeah. Well, I mean, like obviously, the next evolutionary step over there is just straight to Saskatchewan, I guess, right?
That's it, man.
I can't even.
No, Saskatchewan's kind of whatever. Sorry, I meant Alberta, I guess.
Yeah, that's where
Alberta the problem one. Is that where they put in the right winger, eh?
Yeah,
right. They are the Weyland-Yutani of Canada, you might say. Yeah. Seeking the ultimate.
Oh, it's like a blasted hellscape of mineral extraction. Absolutely.
Where they're working.
Just like a never-ending nostalgia cycle of just like idiots trying to go after the exact same fucking mineral every time.
Oh. Yeah, you're okay. So, guys, if my shit cuts out, you tell me. But otherwise, welcome to the Extinction Agenda, everybody, with James.
James.
And Chris.
Excellent. And today we're dealing with mineral extraction of the purest variety, the very fundamental building blocks of life and our human evolution here on Alien Romulus 2024. Okay, I didn't write down any of this fucking guy's name. Fede Álvarez or whatever. You guys got any stats on this?
Yeah. He's a beauty.
He's good. Yeah, he did the Evil Dead reboot, the harder horror slant one, which was decent.
Yeah. Don't Breathe is his baby as well.
Okay, and you.
That's all I got. That's all I got.
Yeah. All right. So do you like the Evil Dead reboot, Chris? Like, was that like a good reboot for you? Was it like, what was it in comparison to Sam Raimi? Like, not to put you on the spot, but
no, absolutely, it's a good reboot. It didn't, you can't replace the charm of Bruce Campbell. Impossible. So there's that, but it was pretty terrifying. I watched it in theater. I thought it was well done.
Yeah, I actually bought a copy too. It was campless and hard.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well
So
said.
they just approached it from like just like ramped up aggression, brought back the scenes if I was gonna make you uncomfortable and actually scared.
Real tense, yeah.
So and then you think, oh, you can't do that. That's stupid. And then kind of nailed it.
Okay.
So.
I
Speaking
hear
of
the good
Uruguay?
things. Yeah, I've heard some good things about the Evil Dead, even with people who on the film projection podcast they were really fucking fussy about Romulus. But they were like, oh, I really like Evil Dead. You know, like they didn't speak bad about the director because they were like they had a bad pedigree. And I'm not going to speak too badly about this director because I'll say the good thing off the hop is that like after the Alien Predator movies and after Ridley did his old weird Ridley fucking shit, we finally got an Alien movie. Right? Like that's what this movie represents. Like it's an actual return to the format, to the topos of
The remix.
Alien. I'm gonna challenge you on that word of remix. You tried to fucking squeak that by me when we were talking about Alien or Aliens.
Okay.
But I don't think this is a remix so much as if it is a remix, it is a blunt remix. And I'd like to compare it to something like Substance. And I know you haven't seen Baby Girl, but I'll compare it to The Substance when we finally get to that moment. Like, I think if you're going to remix something, you do it more like The Substance than you do it like Alien: The Force Awakens.
Oh, that's funny. I was thinking of Rogue One. It was like a batch of doomed people that just inevitably dies doing something that doesn't matter. But set in between two movies of Star Wars, you know, sort of.
Rogue One's a good comparison, yeah.
I don't know.
But the difference is that so Rogue One is its own creature that exists in a space between, you know, it occupies a narrative absence. Whereas, but where Alien Romulus occupies a narrative absence, but also has, to my count, 21 explicit and unambiguous either recreations of scenes or like overt Easter eggs. You know, like it is very much like, remember this scene? Oh, wouldn't it be great if that happened in another movie? It is of a different breed. I don't think I've seen a movie that ever did this. I've seen a lot of movies that make Easter eggs, a lot of movies that make homages, a lot of movies that make references. This movie is not like any of those other movies. It's so fucking parasitic upon the past. Like the primary example is when he's showing the lady the gun. And I don't even know their fucking names. Like I don't know who these characters are.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
I don't know
Rain?
their names either.
Sure, whatever her fucking name is. The gun guy does the thing and he shows her and she's like, oh, it's like colonial, and it's literally Hicks showing Ripley how to use the gun. Only it's a gun that she doesn't have to aim because she's a girl, and why would she have to have any fucking masculine energy whatsoever in order to like
this movie just takes the Marines down a whole peg because it's like all automated, really, is what it tells you about the plasma rifles.
Yeah, it's just like, no, anybody could be doing this, but like whereas the other movies showed individuals who had a capacity to aim and shoot bullets, you don't need that skill in this world. No, you just
I'd
aim
like
and
to think
shoot.
it's sort of like a shot at automated AI. I don't know.
It's not a shot.
It's just a not as clever as David AI joke. I don't know.
I don't think that they're trying to redeem anything, though, right? Like they're not trying to make anything smarter. They're just trying to make anything more streamlined. And it's insulting because like they give the gun to her. She's so smart. She's so capable. Whatever her name is, I still don't know.
Rain.
Yeah. Rain. Oh, what a great name.
It's easy.
Yeah. And she like in a better movie or a different movie, she would be able to just shoot the gun independent of the aiming thing. Why do they fucking dumb her down?
Well, I know why, because
she's a minor.
Military. Yeah, exactly. Like, so they need a reason to that a
Ripley
minor who's never been off planet and never had any military training can take on some aliens, which I don't mind too much. But
yeah,
it
it's true.
Ripley never shot a gun. She never shot a gun in her entire life, and suddenly she became Rambo.
Yeah, that was fucking awesome. It's just a good choice.
That could have been a good choice in this movie too, and it would have been consistent with what we understand feminism within the Aliens franchise to be, or the feminine in the franchise. Like, it never produces like this particular Rain, or whatever her problem is, name. She makes good decisions after like it's like she solves a crossword puzzle. Like when the android is doing his stupid dad jokes or whatever, she gets some sort of gravity. That's a great idea. You're a brilliant. And she fucks around with the gravity, and then she shoots the aliens, and then she like successfully navigates the impossible acid field.
That's it. That is the best like reversal, or I think that it takes the idea of the acid seriously in a way that other movies haven't, and I love that scene.
It does not take because that same acid is going to burn through the hull, right? And then they're going to go up the elevator shaft, and then the elevator is going to fall, and it's going to magically plug the air leak. And then they're going to shoot an alien on the top of that thing that is supposedly plugging the decompression, and it's just going to be steam instead of the acid digging through the thing. It doesn't take it seriously outside of what the plot might require. And I don't know. That's unambiguously the case.
It could have gone further, but you like compared to Aliens, and the sort of like the super convenient presence of acid in that one. Like, I think that this does some cool things with it. The acid field is really good.
It does. The counter the example that supports you is when dude gets acid dropped from the vaginal birth.
Oh God, yeah.
And his like his hand disappears and stuff. Yeah, that's what you want to see. Like, that gets back to like, let's make Alien great again.
Yeah.
That's the. Okay, getting way ahead of ourselves. What is this movie? What's our story here?
Well, I guess it's a I do feel that the mining colony that we open up with, so it's a mining colony. People want to get off the mining colony. Too bad they live on Earth or whatever, or an Earth colony, and they have to work as slaves, and they're never allowed off. Hilarious. So they decide, hey, there's a Weyland-Yutani ship floating through salvage atmosphere. We can beat everyone there if we take my junker ship up there and get some cryostasis, and then we can fucking put ourselves asleep and go to a planet that's like heaven. Let's cook it.
Yeah.
They get out, they do it. It doesn't work out. But yeah, the mining planet is probably the most interesting new addition to the Alien universe, hilariously.
I agree, man.
In this whole film.
Yeah, I think that's a great intro. And it gets back to Ridley's like the leftist, like sort of the core of the first film. Like labor is a presence here, and there's that great scene where they like, she kind of scolds Andy for falling for that shell game, the scam. And then like immediately it's like she's fallen for the like, oh, like if I work enough hours, they're gonna let me off this planet. It's like, oh, sorry, your quota has just increased. Maybe in 5 to 7 years you can escape again.
Yeah, it's on the one hand it's like the moving the goalposts, and like this is gonna sound like a nitpicking, but I think it's an interesting thing that is evoked by this. So you've got your concept of casino capitalism. Gamble, because the thing is, she's like you never know where the ball is never where you think it is. And so it's just like her response is very much like capitalism is a gamble. But that's not what happens with like moving the goalpost is not a gamble. It's a fuck over. Whereas with like getting stocks and not knowing if it's going to go up or down, that's a bit more of a gamble. And so like I'm sympathetic. Like I'm not being a dick and like, oh, the movie's like no, but like I think its metaphor is a little misplaced. I think what it's trying to say is there, but it's not really getting at what the problem is.
I think she's like, not. You know, I think that's a character moment where she has bought into the society on some level, and the movie yanks it away. So like, it's sort of her adjustment of, you know.
I guess what my problem is, not my problem is, like I think that there was a moment where they could have said something more, and they were almost there.
Okay.
Like this movie is very much about labor because, like, you know, spoilers, when it's revealed what the corporation is really after, they want to use the alien to make better workers.
That's so good too.
Yeah, it was, you know, I Somali pirates, man, I gotta lay it down. It's like, I was like, okay, fine. It's because like getting back to what we were saying way back when, James, with way back 2 weeks ago. There was this like, Ripley doesn't actually, she just speculates what the corporation is about. And maybe it's not about warfare whatsoever. It could be something about completely different. And this movie kind of envelops that space. And so
I mean, and that's I did like that idea too. And I think Weyland-Yutani gets a little more room to walk about in your mind, you know, because of that. But then also, how fucking inept is this company that they continue to chase this biological animal? Like, how much money has it cost them? They're maybe the most incompetent company in history.
Isn't that the prerequisite to being a successful industry associated with government?
Oh yeah, you know, maybe that's right on board.
Yeah. No, there's a real I take your point, dude. Chris, what were you going to say though?
I don't remember. I was following the narrative.
Well, it's stupid that they're chasing after, like, because you're right, James. Okay, let's assume that this movie posits what if Alien 1 happened before Alien 2 and there was a movie in between. And so that happens. But then, like, let's assume that the company should have all the data from the Renaissance station that gets absolutely fucking obliterated by one alien. And they're like, oh, you know, it would be really good if we, like, well, I guess Burke is the one who probably, like, digs up the old file. And learns about Renaissance station and all that stuff and sees an opportunity for profit. We don't know. And we don't know what he read or anything. So Alien 3 is the stupidest movie as a consequence, because by then they know what they're dealing with.
Well, I'm going to put myself in the shoes of a Weyland-Yutani, like, bean counter. So you lose a ship, you lose some crew, but the risk reward, because these are isolated incidents, right? So, like, what have you really lost? And were you to learn from what happened and create a better organism that's more controllable, you know, just tweak the science a little bit, then you could potentially, as long as you keep having isolated sites and, like, not bringing it somewhere like Earth, you could extend these experiments pretty indefinitely, and you know, hopefully it's R&D.
I would like to. That. I think it's actually quite easy to deal with an alien infestation. One of the things that I've noticed reading Dark Horse comics, I read a couple, actually, James. There's a couple really good ones that we're going to have to cover in the future. Very good. Fantastic, as a matter of fact. But what I've noticed about the entire Alien franchise is that they treat the aliens like an infection, but let's break down what's required. You need to be abducted like a satanic panic, and you need to be holed up and raped in some sort of fucking, like, egg camp, and then they need to give birth to you. it's not like COVID, man. Like, it's not like they get out and they're gonna get you. You know, you could actually kill all of them before they egg rape your captured mouse. You could do it. It can be done. You know, I know it's hard and they got acid for blood, but when you're not in space, the stakes of that consequence go really down. Like, that's another thing I noticed about this is like that acid for blood. Who gives a fuck unless you're in space?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So
Yeah,
you just keep your distance and like, okay, you're gonna dig to the Earth's core. Oh, I hope I'm okay.
Yeah, I mean that's what it felt like in Aliens.
Yeah.
We're like, fuck you, get some. You
Well,
want
that's
some of this too?
exactly. Yeah, there was no consequences to like. Now
No,
again,
okay, they got blindsided and put their pulse rifles away, right? Bad example. We lost most of the squad there, but from there on out, 3 to 5 Marines and 1 android basically eliminated hundreds and hundreds. They basically exterminated the infestation.
You're making the case for the company here.
Yeah. So but this why does the company want this uncontrolled? That's one thing. There's a dark horse. It's called Alien Labyrinth. So Joss Whedon read this comic because it is about trying to tame the alien and having these like biomedical humans who are all fucking deformed because it's all part of like breeding aliens. It's a ripoff job, similar to Star Wars ripping off Dark Horse comics. It's neat. Nothing. There's nothing new to say about these things. They just haven't put it in film yet.
There was also there's a little matter of like, I don't know how do you guys feel about the practical effects? I honestly,
they were good. Yeah.
Really? Because I felt like the Xenos looked a little bit like a fucking PlayStation cutscene.
No, I thought they were good. The only one at the very end was the when it latches onto her suit and is like kind of bashing her. That very much felt like a video game cutscene.
Yeah. Okay. So we were happier with the effects then.
I thought it was pretty good. So. Yeah.
I don't think it was perfect. Like for instance, maybe this is what Chris is talking about. So when James Cameron showed the aliens, it was always humans in a suit, and they were all like, he got acrobats, but like we get a lot of CGI alien in this, and very rarely do we get like a practical effect that is meant to be the alien, but we do. And actually, and I held this against Ripley. I was like, Ridley. I was like, it's all CGI, and that's why I was so fucking blown away when I discovered that some of those effects were just practical with CGI on top. I think what distinguishes these movies is it's almost an aesthetic thing where Ridley errs in the direction of feeling like CGI, and this guy erred in the direction of making it feel like practical, even if it was a mix of the two. It was like a Corman thing. He went. I want people to feel that this is a practical effect, without masking it.
Yeah, he has a good, like, I don't know if you guys picked up on it, but one of my friends described it as derivative, that there was just a lot of people running toward the next locked door.
Yeah. That's definitely what happened.
I wanted to cut him off, and I was like, but there are good horror beats in this.
Yeah,
like
really
it was scarier.
It was.
I don't know what that's a result of. Is somebody just understanding the genre better, like the director?
I think it's a very finely tuned suspense piece, and I think it plays that game really well. So I think I mentioned this before, but the best way I've ever heard suspense described is sort of a game of good news, bad news.
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Yeah. Something happens and then it's like, the reversal, but then bad news happens again. So I think this movie plays that really well. And again, I think back to the acid spiral and like the falling from the elevator, and then good news, the alien caught you. Bad news, the alien caught you, and just kind of dealing with those sorts of things.
Yeah, it is relentless. I understand why audiences. I already said this, but I understand why audiences really like this movie. Like, it's not a bad movie unless you're really fucking fussy. Like, it serves the purpose of a movie, and it serves the purpose of an alien movie, and also it gives you those, hey, remember these? Like, it's an invitation for young people to explore the past. That's the most yeah.
This reminded me, and maybe it was because we were just talking about the like sci-fi and the movies and all this, but I felt like this was almost like a Jurassic Park of the franchise, where it's like the science is sort of like incidental, it's very superficial, and it's there to be sort of a thrill ride through this like experiment gone wrong.
I did wonder what so they've got. We really haven't talked about some of the like. How'd you feel about the Ash thing? James,
you know what? I read a little bit about this and saw a couple of interviews with Ian Holmes' wife, and she was like absolutely loved it. And she said he would have loved it. I guess he got snubbed by Hollywood after sort of The Hobbit, and he still wanted to play in movies and do roles, and I guess he applied for roles and stuff, and basically he just got ghosted, and I guess he got pretty depressed at the end of life, and then Fede reached out to her, and they came on set, and she got to talk to everybody, and she thought he would have loved it, and that it was like she got to kind of see him again, so. I don't know. I thought it was. I thought it was kind of positive in a way. Like, I know there's a thought train on it that it's an absolute nightmare world, but I mean, there's a perspective there that I thought that sort of took me off guard. So I don't know.
I've got a really callous attitude towards anyone who's fussy about that. One, he existed in a realm in which one didn't sign off their contract rights like that. Like he didn't actually have a right to retain it unless the union said that he couldn't. That is not humane. And so I will also say that, like, he's an actor, and so like I just like he's not going to really. He wants to be immortal. Like, he wants to be in film. I don't know. I don't know what to think of these things. Like, I don't want to. Like, if someone presented me with my dead grandmother, who was constructed from Facebook posts and like whatever algorithm they think would exist as a consequence of the social media loved one, I would be deeply concerned about that. But in this particular instance, like I outside of contract rights, I don't give a shit.
I don't love it because of the like you're taking a job from a person anytime you do it. However, I will say that in this one case, when it's a synthetic and it's sort of like it would have been a mass produced Ian Holm bot, that's probably the best case scenario, and I thought it was done pretty well.
It's saying what you just said there too, Chris. There's no reason why they couldn't just hire Lance Hendrickson and use that android.
That's true.
And then just give a real fucking human being a real job and have some fucking fun with it, and also throw back to the fans, But this was probably cheaper. So there is a dark way to look at it,
But what if? And I don't know. Like it's kind of 50-50 on this. Like, what if it wasn't cheaper? I believe it wouldn't be. I believe it would be cheaper to get Lance Hendrickson.
You might be right about that.
Yeah, just get fucking Lance coming in. Like this was a choice. This was important. It was important because it's Aliens 1, and they're trying to establish the legitimacy of the entire franchise. It's one of those, like, again, Alien Force Awakens. This is about, it's not just about capturing what an alien movie is. It's about creating a new wave of fans and children who are going to really enjoy replicating themselves like the past, like as if we're raping their mouths and giving birth to more aliens. Wouldn't that be great?
Wow.
And Disney has said yes. Disney said
Disney was all on
yes.
board for sure.
Big surprise.
What is your guys' take on Ridley Scott like getting into a jerk off session with his own franchise here? Because he's inserted himself as a producer, right?
Yeah.
So I feel that in his mind he can kind of just worm his way in here, and if this fails, oh well, Fede Álvarez directed it. You guys should have used me. But if he succeeds, yeah, Ridley's at the helm. You know, it's sort of a win-win, isn't it?
But it's not just him. It's him and Walter Hill and whoever. Like whatever happened to Brandywine? Wine.
Yeah.
Like okay, I don't know. Money's changed at this point. Like I don't.
Producers can be a spurious credit too. Like you can just be sort of like a nod to somebody, an ego stroke. So I don't know how involved he was with the thing.
Oh, he's got to be. He's got like Brandywine and Scott Free or that. Those are the people. This is their co-production, so that's who these people are. Like that's and maybe they have humans or whatever. But like okay, this movie was in the top 10 of 2024 in terms of revenue. So I explained your movie for you. Like they don't need to be involved.
Well, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like a producer can be hands off, right? And I feel like that's more likely the case.
But what are we trying to explain from this? Because I don't think Ridley had anything to do with its goodness or its badness.
Yeah.
He's involved now, so he just gets to, what I just don't understand what he gets out of inserting himself when it's over for him,
Probably a percentage.
That makes sense to me.
It's as simple as that, I guess. But yeah.
Well, why not? He's also making a bunch of movies. He's fine. He gives I don't know what they do with all this money, and they make. I know what they do. They make Gladiator 2, and they feel they feel the comfort of just I'm going to make a Napoleon movie because that's what
he's about these days for sure.
Yeah, and it shows up.
Epics.
I guess it's fine. I never saw Napoleon actually.
What's the verdict on Andy? Thought that performance
I was just about to ask.
good.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
we haven't even. Yeah, that's
standout performance. Come on.
Absolutely, so good.
I like Andy. Yeah.
I like.
That's a remix element, by the way. I don't.
How so?
Well, because you have to have a different slant on the, like you're taking the thing, you're giving it a different slant on it.
But you immediately know, it's the very predictable plot device, right?
Oh yeah,
because
sure.
You look at this guy, he's twitching, he's damaged, he has a seizure on the mining planet after getting punked by a couple of street kids or whatever, and you're like, and then he starts telling these uncle jokes, and you're like, oh, he's like a cute idiot android, and then you get to the space station and you just know there's going to be some kind of fucking security clearance problem, some kind of software upgrade where the robot's going to take over and be like, I'm now programmed for the needs of the company, shit heels, and you just it's going to get ugly. But I mean, it was very predictable, but also
that's really
very well acted.
I didn't predict any of that. I wasn't deeply shocked when it happened, but I was like, okay, this is a thing that's carrying us along. Andy is very good as a MacGuffin and also a character. He keeps everything going throughout all of it, even with a classic MacGuffin, someone's chasing something. They're but with this one, they're sort of tied to the MacGuffin that makes the plot go, and he's easily but he's not heartfelt, right? He's interesting as a character.
I thought he was.
Well, okay. What do you? I'm gonna like who's more heartfelt, Bishop or this guy, and why?
It's this guy, man. He's abused and bullied, and you just want to take him home with you.
I think Bishop, but there is that element of like he's separated from his purpose is to protect her, and that sort of like sadness of, you know, okay, in order, like he's not going to be able to go with her on that journey, and he just has to accept it, and it presses you to question whether he has emotions or not, or whether you're just projecting. I think that's a pretty good use of the android in and of itself.
I guess I'm projecting.
I think that I project in a different way, and it's an uncharitable way, but it's a cynical way, and it's like, okay, we've got a Disney product, and we want to comment on labor, and we want to be left, and we want to say, well, what if there's a developmentally disabled android associated with this individual, and that at a certain point, the evil of him is that he becomes intelligent, you know, and it's
are they Rain Manning?
It's not that they're Rain Manning. It's like, what if Tom Cruise could fucking like barf something into Rain Man's neck to cause him to be a vicious killer who like it's I don't know, like it's like no, but that like version. No, I do detect something deeply cynical in this, and that like how do we like, and when he, you know, he's one of the mining robots, but he's a black man, right? Like, so he's represented as a literal slave, and that's not like, I'm not saying that makes it bad, but the thing is he's a developmentally disabled black man who who becomes respectable once he absorbs the thought of an English robot. and then he becomes all genteel, and then he's dangerous and stuff. And I think there's a critique in that, but I also think there's a fucking fucking travesty contained in that. And
fuck me.
Well, luckily he gets to the new directive of, you know, do what's best for me and you. So by the end, it all works itself out.
Yes, it does.
That's hilarious.
Good. You got it.
I didn't take it down that path. I just thought I don't know. I just thought it was a heartfelt character.
No, but it is though. Like
there's no denying what you just said. There's no getting around it. There's no sugarcoating it. It's right there. It's not in the subtext.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I like.
But he's also very Go ahead.
The element
Chris.
of distrust with the scavengers, even that moral dilemma of that guy's mom died in the mines because one made that. You know, they gave it the trolley problem.
That's James's take on androids. He's like that guy.
Oh, you don't trust them because they can make a decision. They're like they're Tesla driving AI. You know, like they'll take out 3 people if they can save one.
Yeah, why not? They just do the moral calculus. I do think that was it was a post the Good Place position to have for robots. And it was also, I don't know, it makes sense. But like Asimov's rules doesn't really make any sense. Like the robot has to help humans, provided that it doesn't help damage other robots. And it's just like, oh wow, none of your robots are ever gonna work if that's the algorithm. They're gonna have to like make complex decisions. And I did like that, and I did appreciate that. This movie recognized that humans as a thing, even though the Alien franchise has never represented this, is like, if we go into space, I don't know if we'll develop a lot of new viruses. That doesn't make any sense because you need like a complex ecology for that. But you're going to face disease. It's going to be an enclosed environment. It's going to be really rough. Like, we're never going to make it. Like, I don't think this shit's going to work out. But this movie is optimistic at the same time as not being optimistic.
Yeah, well,
I appreciate that.
What do you think of the Romulus? Because I think they do have an intent with the title. And they in the station they reference there's the two spheres, one's Romulus, one's Remus. So they are like making direct allusion to Roman Empire there.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with because the Roman Empire will collapse?
I took it as there's something monstrous about the birth of empires, and in the mythology, the two brothers are exposed and are nursed by a she-wolf, right? And then it sort of there's a implied like a savageness that comes from that, I feel. And then they end up founding the city, and there's two competing cities, I think, and then Romulus kills Remus because his city is made fun of, and from there they go on for empire. I think that's like it wants to gesture at the sort of like the monstrousness of building empire, and that is taken, that's represented in the the need to make man monstrous in order to survive space and to build.
That's kind of neat. So I did think about that, but I also hadn't something about what you had said. I'm just thinking about the image of the two children suckling at the teat of a wolf. There's
to the end of the movie.
Well, that's kind of just the idea of, I guess so, but just like humanity sucks at the teat of the wolf. And that's, the wolf is the alien in that.
Yeah. And at the end, literally the creation, goes seeking to nurse. I think that they it's that reversal of, what would that offspring, I think they're just playing with that idea. What would the offspring see from us if it's superior and moving on? The one thing I absolutely hated about the that final like fucking like
offspring
Gumby monster thing, like fucking weird looking. It's just how sinister it is. Like instantly, it's just mean looking, and I feel like that is inappropriate for a newborn. Like it's unnecessary. It's just hokey. Not alien.
It was kind of. Yeah, well, it wasn't. Yeah, like it actually made me yearn for the days of Joss Whedon's like fucking.
Yeah, exactly. That one was a lot weirder.
Well, that's what they harken back to. Like what they gave us was more of like a Manhunter version of Alien. It was more of like a sex pervert alien monster, and but the alien is a sex pervert. And like it's almost as if it was like audiences are not going to understand the dentata, so we're going to have to like make it a smiling engineer. It wasn't a great like I think it actually looked cool in the moment.
And you know what? It was uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it was.
I squirmed around. I was like, oh damn, okay. I just don't think that, like, I think it was a shock thing, and when you make a choice like that, you're deciding to add something to the lore of this fucking franchise, and what happens when you make that specific type of choice is very similar to what happened in Alien Resurrection, and what happened maybe this is a bit of an Alien versus Predator sort of deal as well, where it's like people are gonna omit that from canon. They're gonna say, "Oh, good job, you freaked us all out. That was fucking gross. We don't want to do that again." And that to me is a choice. If you're gonna reboot a whole franchise, why'd you do that? Exactly. I don't think that was a good call.
It was like they were relying on the fact that like no one's gonna remember Alien Resurrection, so we can just steal whole cloth from the ending of that.
I think that I think the opposite. I think that they knew exactly who their audience, because they did the same. They did that thing where the alien comes up from Alien 3 and like snips the girl. They knew all their references. Like, there was nothing to my mind, there was nothing uncalculated about every moment. And so when they had the black goo from the Prometheus / Covenant franchise as ending up being a sub MacGuffin in this movie, but in order to pay that off, so what's the alien? Okay, so what do we understand the alien to be? It's like suicide engineer equals human plus octopus equals or human plus human raped by black goo equals tentacle plus engineer equals alien plus human equals engineer creepo. Like that's the calculation that we experience. Like that's the level of fucking nerd shit that is going on in this. and it shows up in that, and you're just like, oh, that's really cool. Don't do that. I don't like that. That's not what I signed up for. That's not what Alien's about. It's about an alien, and it's about dick, vagina, fucking teeth.
Well, you just get that too. Also, you know what? We've given this place a lot of shit. How do we feel about the new Cocoon?
Oh god, the vaginal cocoon.
Yeah.
Oh, it looked exactly like a vulva. It was really like, and it was, but in the dripping of the acid, it's very.
Yeah. Oh, it was very sensual.
That acid death was great.
Yeah. Oh, it was everything every alien nerd ever wanted. Oh, what if acid actually got on you?
Acid went right through your fucking bones, your chest plate, straight into your heart, and you're just done. You just little sputter.
It's like everyone instinctively knows like how you have to design these things, and they just go for it. You got to jab it with the cable.
Well, technically it's the 9th movie in the franchise, and he's the only one that came up with a good acid death. So there are cool things to still draw from this.
That's what I'm saying. Give me some good acid, I'm happy.
And sadly, I'm saying the same thing too. Man, this movie is the first alien movie that has been produced since, they incorporated bits of Resurrection and Alien 3, but ultimately it's an Alien 1/2 movie, plus teen drama to get kids in the theaters. And
you're not wrong.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
I get it. I'd rather see this than fucking giant ants. But we're not going to get I would rather watch this than any Marvel movie, and they are the exact same sort of problematic. I watched this. It was great. It's fine. I was like, I see all the seams, 22 seams.
22. Wow.
Here we go. Mother sends the same in the opening. It's the mother does the exact same sound. Laser torch is the same. Cornbread from Aliens. Waterbird, Alien. Video feeds. They have a lot of video feeds. Close quarters crawling. What else we got? I prefer the term artificial person myself.
Oh, nice one.
Cattle prod versus alien, synthetic, facehugger, tongue against glass, undergrate hiding, pulse rifle, risen corridor cheap, laser mist, gate open, gun Ripley. I can't lie about your chances. You have my sympathies. Alien 3 face sniff against wall. Get away from her, you bitch. Gets in spacesuit. Space baby. Planet fade.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah,
And
Rook,
there's video.
I guess Rook Bishop reference.
Yeah. That's the most obvious. Yeah. There's video game references from Alien Isolation as well. Apparently
he's a big Isolation fan.
Yeah. I almost played Isolation to talk about this movie, and then I said to myself, that's insane.
Too far.
I'm not going to do that.
Isolation's fun.
It looks like a lot of fun.
It's like fun in not a good way though, like because you're like fuck you walking around and there's an alien, and it's a big fucking alien too. They make it like a little bigger than standard.
Mm-hmm.
Like so it's bigger than a human. I don't know, whatever. I think that's a actually good design choice, just a slight bigger. It reminds me of the first Alien movie, really. And then it's like attacking people, but it's like it's picking people off and dragging them away like Alien 3 sort of. But it's you have nothing. Like at one point you have like a flashlight. I had like a flashlight, and I think in my inventory I had like batteries and like a scrap of paper that said a code on it. And I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. I'm gonna die out here. And you're just running around and you can hide, and then you can hold one of the buttons to hold your breath.
Oh.
And the
wow.
fucking the microphone on the PlayStation 4 remote. This is an old game too. The PlayStation 4 remote has a microphone on it. If you fucking say anything or get loud, the fucking alien will hear you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
wow.
It's fun. It's there's something, but I played it a little bit and then got jump scared about 100 times. And I was like, okay, I'm over this. Get the fuck out of here.
No, it sounds stressful, man. Holy fuck! Why do you want to do that?
It's really
exactly.
agitating.
I really wish I actually lived on LV426. Wow, wouldn't that be fun?
Just walk around with a fucking flashlight.
What do you mean they cut the power? This is so great. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I have it. So next get together, I'll just give it to you, and you can throw it in your PlayStation 4. It's never come out of the vault. It hasn't been out of the vault in a long time. That way, you don't have to spend any dollars on it.
Oh, that sounds great. Okay. So we've walked up and down the Alien franchise. We said left and right.
Yep.
So what are we doing with I'm going to do amongst the movies that we watched, Aliens, Prometheus in this movie. What's our ranking?
I think exactly in that order.
Yeah, it's hard to refute that.
Okay, wait. Well, sorry. What was the order that I said? What?
Aliens, Prometheus, this movie.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a shame. Yeah, might be right. Yeah.
And then the others kind of fall into the dregs of shittiness.
Yeah.
Leading us into Fast X, inevitably, the 10th Alien movie.
I don't think any of the others would. I think those are the top four. Like, I think we just covered the best of them. And I think we kind of did that.
And we already did. I watched half of Covenant. It didn't grab me in the same way as Prometheus, but I do recollect what a great ending.
Yeah.
Covenant?
Oh yeah, man, that's horrible. That's like Event Horizon, disgusting. You have a sense of what's gonna happen in that fucking space. Yuck. But
this movie, it was a good ending. Also, the fucking android, the Fassbender versus Fassbender kung fu fight.
Yeah.
Shit.
Where the fucking android was like, well, fuck, I'm programmed with kung fu though, bro. And I don't know. That was a great moment.
All right. So, I don't know. Fucking Aliens is a complex franchise with a lot of thoughts attached to it. And I think we did it. I think we got a sense of what all of it's about.
That's official. And you can anybody that's listening to this too, if you didn't listen to the other Alien episodes, you can go back and take a walk with us.
Yeah. See what's what, because and then tell us what we concluded. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. Honestly, if you please, anyone, feel free to email us your list.
Yeah, what's important to you? We'd be curious to know.
Wrong.
Not really.
Prometheus is number 1.
Oh, wow.
You got to defend that take though.
No.
What is the number? No, I'm not. Yeah, it's not.
Ridley wouldn't.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's tough. All right. Well, until next time, fucking, I don't know. Don't trust the government.
Keep your helmet on.
Now, all we need is a little energon and a lot of luck.